Networking and Global Shell, which is a part of our uh, subject Foundations of Cloud Computing. Now we look at first VPC, that is Virtual Private Cloud. So it is an essentially secure and isolated section of a private cloud, public cloud, which is reserved for a single customer. Like consider it as a certain spot which everyone can't access, and it is for customers which pay a certain amount, and the public only a certain group of customers can access it. So it gives the scalability of a public cloud while keeping our data safe and isolated. So it gives the benefits of data security, but as well as adds the feature for the customer to have flexibility of various features. Then we have the microservices. So instead of building a large application, uh, microservices breaks it into small functions, like each handling a specific job. So like the major advantage is like using different stack. If a single thing fails, then the other things can just continue because they are not connected to each other. So this has fault tolerance and resilience, as well as we can opt for different choices. So we get the flexibility as well. Then we have cloud cost governance and budgeting. So we need a proper management in order to manage costs, because as we have as cloud providers like AWS, Azure, they all have the monitors, but it's at the end it's the customer who has to manage his resources in order to reduce the cost and make sure that the resources are not wasted. So visibility, we need to make sure that visibility through the dashboards, by allocating to the specific certain resources and setting a limit or an alert for a certain time is very necessary, and this could even help in reducing costs. And the next is resource optimization. So like for example, as we have learned that if the storage is not being used, so then we can put that amount of data into a simpler storage, like from S3 to Glacier, something like that. So that is what we need to do. And yeah, the last one is reviews. So regularly we need to make sure and via assessments that uh, nothing is being wasted. Now the fifth one is network monitoring and troubleshooting. So we need to monitor the traffic, like the latency, the packet loss. So we have various tools in Amazon. We have Amazon CloudWatch. In Azure, we have Azure Monitor. And real-time alerts help us to manage this issue with quick response times. So we just have to identify the problem, isolate the clause, make a plan to fix it, and then implement it for smooth functioning. Then we have cloud migration costs. So like migrating from one cloud to another is not that easy and not free for us. So like we have to incur major cost if we are a customer. So we have to plan and assess what is the fees, like the data transfer fees and all that, and also the certain things such as software licensing and making sure the team is able to adapt to the new cloud provider. So team training our team is very necessary, and the security upgrades, cause making sure that for a cheaper price or moving to a different provider does not compromise the security of the data. Then we have VPC architecture and networking. So virtual private cloud architecture defines the configuration of cloud providers' virtual networking environment. So VPC networking creates a logically isolated section for running virtual resources. This is solely for the VPC customers. So It lets you isolate the resources, manage your own IP address, ranges using CIDR notations, create subnets across availability zones, and sets up custom routing rules. So we can also connect your VPC to the internet via certain internet gateways or on the premises network securely via VPN, virtual private network. And the last one is AWS Global Infrastructure. So AWS operates in many regions, as we know, like close to 25 plus regions, and each region needs an availability zone. For example, as we have recently heard about the Middle East, and the war has led to um, data centers being bombed. So the cloud services are still running because these data centers have availability zones in other parts of the world, such as in India or in South Korea or in China, something like that. So availability zones, clusters of data centers are connected with high-speed links, and AWS offers services across compute, such as like EC2, Lambda, Elastic Beanstalk. Then for storage, it has S3, EBS, and Glacier. Glacier is the most cheapest. Then the database, such as RDS, DynamoDB, and Redshift. And for networking, it has Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Route 53, Direct Connect. And then for security and identity, we have Identity Access Management Services, Amazon Cognitive, AWS KMS. And for data analytics and big data, we have Amazon EMR and Athena Kinesis. So overall, it's a software defined approach to manage wide area networks. And reducing costs while as well as improving the agility, security, and traffic optimizations. So it has three components: the edge, orchestrator, and the controller. So this is what we can say, that this particular presentation gives us a solid like overview of what the cloud computing and VPCs and services and the cost, governance and monitoring and the AWS infrastructure is mainly about.